Good evening, students. Welcome to Sankalp learning classes. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಸಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ದ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯು ಲರ್ನ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್? ಸೊ ಮೇನ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನನ್ನ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? So the first thing is about the ecosystem. What is ecosystem and example for the different types of the ecosystem. For example, pond ecosystem, right? So ecosystem, what are the components of the ecosystem? So adanella kaltkondiddira alva. Then the main key components of the ecosystem, that is productivity, then decomposition, energy flow and nutrient cycling, right? So ನೀವು ecosystem ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ 4 points ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So the first point is about the productivity, primary productivity, net primary productivity. So these all points. And the second important thing is about the decomposition. So that involves the 5 different steps, and the energy flow, different trophic levels and all, and the nutrient cycling. Then the types of pyramids and all, so that you have studied in this chapter ecosystem alva. So let's start with the directly I'm going to start with the chapter questions. Okay, so questions anna ನಾವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನೀವು ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Yes, let's start with the first question. Question number 1. A pond is option A, a biome, a community of plants and animals. Option C, a natural ecosystem. Option D, none of the above. So here, a pond is, if you know the answer, please write the answer in chat box. Okay, so chat box alli nimge correct agi answer gottidre ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಬರಿಬಹುದು. A pond is, so a biome. So it is not a biome. Biome means it includes different several types of the ecosystem, and the pond, that is a that is not a biome, because biome that covers the large geographical area alva. So biome andre dodda ಒಂದು geographical area na cover ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Pond that is not able to cover the larger geographical area, it is not a biome. A community of plants and animals. So here ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಸೊ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ, ಸೊ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆನಿಮಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟೀಸ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ದ ecosystem. Okay, so different types of the ecosystem, pond, lake, forest, together they form the biome. Okay, so it is not a community. So pond is not a community. Pond, that is a natural ecosystem alba. So pond is a natural ecosystem that contains mainly biotic and the abiotic factors alva. So for question number 1, option C is the correct answer, a natural ecosystem. Next question. Which one statement is correct regarding man-made ecosystem? So ecosystem ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 types ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So that the first one is natural ecosystem, and the second one man-made. So natural ecosystem means, for example, forest, grassland and pond. So these all are natural ecosystem. Man-made ecosystem means, for example, aquarium. So where the fishes are reared, that is the aquarium. Then crop fields irbodu, then garden. So these all are man-made ecosystem. So here, which one statement is correct regarding man-made ecosystem? Option A, they are highly efficient. Option B, they are poor in diversity. They are vulnerable to drought, floods and diseases. All are correct. Here, the statement is correct regarding the man-made ecosystem. So they are highly efficient. So these man-made ecosystems, they are not highly efficient. So the highly efficient ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So here, so they are like crop fields and gardens, so they are not highly efficient. They need fertilizers, irrigation and the pesticides. So adella ಬೇಕಾಗಿರತ್ತೆ. So they are not highly efficient. They are poor in biodiversity. Yes, that is the correct statement. They are poor in biodiversity means, so the types of different organisms in that particular ecosystem is very less. So that is the correct statement. They are vulnerable to drought, floods, and disease. So they are not vulnerable to drought, flood, and disease. Why? Because uh, compared to the natural ecosystem, so they manage the water, nutrient, and protect the soil by using some by growing some plants. So they are not vulnerable to drought, flood, and disease. So the correct answer is they are poor in diversity. Option B, they are poor in diversity. Okay, because in that ecosystem very less species that you can identify. Okay, option B is the correct answer. Let's move to the question number 3. The largest ecosystem in the world. Option A, forest. Option B, grassland. Option C, Great Lakes. Option D, that is oceans. So, so this forest, grassland, Great Lakes, ocean. So, these all are example for the ecosystem. So, ಈ ecosystem ಅಲ್ಲಿ forest ecosystem ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, grassland ecosystem ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? The largest ecosystem, so largest means which includes the many number of organisms and the abiotic component also. So here option D, oceans are the largest ecosystem in the world, which is very rich in biodiversity as well as some abiotic components which cover the maximum area on earth. So oceans are the largest ecosystem in the world. Option D. Question number 4. A natural ecosystem, option A, depends on the man. Option B, depends on the plants. Option C, depends on the animals. Option D is auto-operated. So, ನೋಡಿ, natural ecosystem, it may be a forest or it may be a grassland. So these all are natural ecosystem. So this natural ecosystem depends on the man. No, the functions and all that is not depend on the man. Depends on the plant. So this entire natural ecosystem, that is not only depend on the plants. Depend on the animals. No, these are not depend on the animals. So that is auto operated. Option D, this natural ecosystem, option D, they are auto operated. Option D is the correct answer. Auto operated means, so here they are not regulated by plants or animals or man or anything. So the functions, that is auto operated. Option D is the correct answer. Question number 5. Which of the following is an artificial ecosystem created by humans? Option A, grassland ecosystem. Option B, agro ecosystem. Option C, ecosystem of artificial lakes and dams. Option D, forest ecosystem. So, ಯಾವುದು correct answer ಅಂತ? Option C, ecosystem of artificial lakes and dams. ಓಕೆ, ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಸೊ ಇದೆರಡು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕಂಪೇರ್ agro ecosystem means that is related to the agriculture fields growing some crops. So that is related to the agriculture, okay, the ecosystem like field, agriculture field and all. So this is the man-made ecosystem, agro ecosystem, that is the man-made ecosystem. But if you consider ecosystem of artificial lakes and dams, so dams and lakes, so the dams are constructed across the river and all, so they are just constructed, but the resources and also that are present naturally, the remaining all the organisms and all, so they are present naturally in that water. So if you compare both the options, so the most suitable answer is agroecosystem. Okay, so ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ grassland ecosystem, forest ecosystem, ecosystem of artificial lakes and dams and the pond ecosystem ಅಂತ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, pond ecosystem anta, then the correct option will be, the most suitable answer will be option C. But here they had provided both agroecosystem and ecosystem of artificial lakes and dams, so the better option is option B. Okay, option B is the correct one. Okay, I hope ನಿಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. Question number 6. Peacocks eat snakes that eat frogs. Frogs in turn eat the leaves of the plants the peacock is. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು food chain ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Okay, so you know that peacock that eat the snake, right? Snakes. Then the snakes that eat the frogs. So snakes that eat the frogs. Just I'm constructing one food chain. Okay, ಒಂದು food chain ಅನ್ನ construct ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. Then just here they had given that like that the frogs that eat the leaves, but naturally it doesn't happen. So natural ಇಲ್ಲಿ questions ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So plants, so frogs, they eat the plant leaves. So this is the food chain. Okay, so here the peacock is it primary consumer? So here primary consumer is frog, right? And secondary consumer, so here secondary consumer, that is snake. Decomposer, so normally decomposers are fungi and bacteria, so this is also wrong one. So the apex of the pyramid, option D, the apex of the pyramid means if you construct a pyramid of this organism, so here the peacock that will be at the apex means highest position. Okay, so if you construct the pyramid like this, so here plants, frog, snake and here peacock, so which occupy the highest position in the pyramid. So here option D is the correct answer, the apex of the food pyramid. Okay, okay, let's move to the question number 7. Ecosystems are option A always open, option B both open and closed depending upon the biomass, option B always closed, option D both open and closed depending upon the community. So here the ecosystem are open, okay, always open, or they are closed? No, the ecosystems are always open. So yake, because they ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ವಿತ್ ದರ್ ಸರೌಂಡಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಪಾಂಡ್ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಓಪನ್. ಎನಿ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲೇನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ಸೊ ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಇಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಒನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಟು ದ ಅನದರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ವಿತ್ ದ surroundings. Energy enters so through the sunlight and leaves as a heat. So around 90% of the energy that is lost in the form of heat, and matter also moves in and out. So for example, ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪಾಸ್ಪರಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ನೈಟ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅದೇನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಸೊ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಇನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಔಟ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ the ecosystem that is always open. So here we can consider the option A, ecosystem are always open. So ಅದು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಇದೇ ತರ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಆರ್ ದ ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ, ಸೊ ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಒಂದು ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ ತರ ಏನು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಒಂದು ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಓಪನ್. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. Okay, we'll move to the next question. Question number 8. Biotic components of ecosystem include. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, biotic components means they are the living organisms, the living components in a ecosystem. Option A, producers, consumers and decomposers. Option B, producers and consumers. Option C, producers only. Option D, consumers only. So here the biotic components of the ecosystem. Yes, producers, that is the correct one. Consumers also the biotic component of the ecosystem, and decomposers, yes, they are also a biotic component of the ecosystem. So here we can consider option A is the correct answer. Producers, consumers, decomposers are the biotic components of the ecosystem. Question number 9. What is the annual net primary productivity of the entire biosphere? So what is net primary productivity? So net primary productivity, that is equal to gross primary productivity minus respiratory loss. Then what is this gross primary productivity? So that is the amount of biomass that is produced at the producer level alva. So total amount of biomass produced by the plants or the producers. So plants ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಬಯೋಮಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ respiratory loss, so that is called as minus R. So net primary productivity is the remaining amount of organic matter in the producer. So that is called as net primary productivity. So what is the annual net primary productivity of the entire biosphere? So 170 billion tons dry weight of organic matter, 165 billion tons, 160 billion tons, 155 billion tons. So illi the correct option is 170 billion tons dry weight of organic matter. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಡ್ರೈ ವೇಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 170 ಬಿಲಿಯನ್ ಟನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಬಯೋಮಾಸ್, ದೆನ್ some amount is utilized by them, and the remaining one, so if you count the remaining amount, so that is 170 billion tons of dry weight of the organic matter, so of the entire biosphere. So when you consider the entire biosphere, this is the amount. Okay. Question number 10. Which factor limits the primary productivity of an ecosystem most often? Option A, solar radiation or light. Option B, oxygen. Option C, consumers. Option D, nitrogen. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ total amount of organic matter produced by the plants, right? So produced by the plants or the organism at the first tropic level. So total amount of organic matter or the biomass, so or the rate of production of the total biomass by the producer, so that is called as primary productivity. So which factor is a primary productivity of an ecosystem most often? So solar radiation, oxygen, consumers, nitrogen. So this nitrogen and oxygen, so normally that does not affect the primary productivity, and also consumers. Mainly solar radiation or the light, alva. So ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಥ್ರೂ ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೋಲಾರ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಈ ಸೋಲಾರ್ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ that factor limits the primary productivity other than the oxygen and nitrogen and the consumers. So option A is the correct answer for this question. Question number 10, option A is the correct answer. Question number 11, the type of vegetation that occurs in an area with low rainfall, high temperature and loose and sandy soil is called as. So nodi, the vegetation type, what it is called. So with low rainfall, high temperature and loose and sandy soil, so that is called as grassland. So grassland means where you can see the more rainfall. And scrub forest, xerophytic evergreen tropical forest. Evergreen tropical forest means there you can see the black soil as well as low temperature. Low temperature means not too high, around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius temperature that you can see, optimum temperature, and high rainfall that you can see in the evergreen tropical forest. Okay, then scrub forest that also receives less rainfall, but that is not that does not contain the sandy soil, right? So A, B and D, they do not contain the sandy soil, but the option C, the vegetation type that is called as xerophytic alva. So normal agi desert condition alli ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು plant, so that is called as xerophytic vegetation. Option C is the correct answer. Okay. Question number 12. Ecosystem resist change because they are in a state of option A, imbalance, option B, homeostasis, option C, shortage of components, option D, deficiency of light. So ecosystem that resists the change. So what is the reason behind this? Because of the homeostasis. So here imbalance means an ecosystem in imbalance is in an unstable state and prone to significant changes or collapse, not resistance to the change. So shortage of components, while the presence of limiting resources is a factor that helps in the maintenance of the homeostasis. So a general shortage of components is a condition that could lead to the instability or force to change, or not a reason for the resistance to all the changes. And deficiency of light. So deficiency of light is an environmental condition that would limit the primary productivity and cause the ecosystem to be an unstable state not a condition that allows the resist the change in the general. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂರು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಇಂಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್, ಶಾರ್ಟೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡೆಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್, ದೇ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸಿ ದ homeostasis, so ecosystem resists the change because they are in a state of homeostasis. So option B is the correct one. Question number 13. What are the two components of ecosystem? Option A, plants and animals. Option B, weeds and trees. Option C, biotic and abiotic. Option D, frog and men. Yes, dear students. So comment ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ? Option C. Okay. Some students are telling option C, biotic and abiotic. Any other options? So here, the two components in an ecosystem, not only plants and animals are there, so they are the major one, but it is made up of not only these two components, weeds and trees. So these are not two components of the ecosystem. So option C, biotic and abiotic. Option D, frog and men. So frog and men, that is not the correct answer. So here biotic and abiotic. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೆನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ ಟೂ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ in a large scale you have to consider biotic components. It include plants, animals, weeds, trees, frog, men, everything alva. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ biotic components ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ all the living organisms, and abiotic components means temperature or solar radiation. So these all are the abiotic components of the ecosystem. So here option C, biotic and abiotic components. Question number 14. Which of the following is the most stable ecosystem? Option A, mountain. Option B, desert. Option C, forest. Option D, ocean. Which of the following is most stable ecosystem? Mountain. So mountain is not stable, so that may undergo the changes. Desert ecosystem also not more stable. Forest ecosystem, that is also not more stable. Ocean, so ocean, that is the largest ecosystem, and if there is a minor changes, so it won't affect the total ecosystem alva. Ocean ecosystem, that is the larger one which covers the most of the areas of the biosphere alva. So ಆ ಒಂದು area large area ಅನ್ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ if there is a small change, so it won't affect the ocean ecosystem. But ಈಗ ಮೌಂಟೇನ್, ಡೆಸರ್ಟ್, ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the small change that may cause the changes, the small scale change also cause the large scale effect on the mountain, desert and the forest. So which of the following is the most stable? Oceans are the more stable ecosystem. Question number 15. Energy storage at the consumer level is called gross primary productivity, secondary productivity, net primary productivity, net productivity. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ NPP, net primary productivity, that is equal to gross primary productivity minus respiratory loss, right? So ಈ ಒಂದು equation ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. Gross primary productivity means the total amount of organic matter produced by the plants. So they utilize some organic matter for the respiration and their metabolic activity, that is called as respiratory loss. So that gives the net primary productivity. So these all takes place at the producer level. Okay, so gross primary productivity, net primary. So these all are at the producer level, right? So the secondary productivity, that is the new organic matter produced at the consumer level. The energy storage at the consumer level is called as secondary productivity. Option B is the correct answer, that is secondary productivity. So how do you define the secondary productivity? The total amount of new organic mass produced by the consumer level, that is called as secondary productivity. Okay, I hope ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. Question number 16. Primary productivity, option A, is equal to the standing crop of an ecosystem. Option B is greatest in freshwater ecosystems. Option C, it is the rate of conversion of light to mechanical energy in an ecosystem. It is inverted and in some aquatic ecosystem. Primary productivity, right? So the primary productivity means total organic matter produced by the plants. It is equal to the standing crop of an ecosystem. So standing crop of an ecosystem means the total amount of organic matter available in each tropic level at a particular time period. It is not equal to the standing crop of an ecosystem. It is greatest in the freshwater ecosystem. No, in the primary productivity, that is not greatest in the freshwater ecosystem. It is rate of conversion of light to chemical energy in an ecosystem. Yes, so that is the rate of, by using the solar radiation, rate of conversion of light energy into a chemical energy. So that is the correct option, and it is inverted in the aquatic ecosystem. So that is also wrong one. So option C, it is the rate of conversion of light to chemical energy in an ecosystem. Option C is the correct one. Question number 17. Energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional, bidirectional, multidirectional, all of these. So here energy flow means producers, plants. Okay, I'll take it as a plants, then uh, goat and tiger. So this is one energy flow, right? So here, so sunlight. When sunlight that falls on the plants, they utilize the sunlight and produce the energy, and the goat that consume the plants and get the energy, and the tiger that consume the goat and get the energy. So here energy from the sun that pass to the plants and the producers, then to the goat, then to the tiger. So that is moving. So this is always in a single direction. Again, the energy that will not pass on to the plants and the solar system, solar light. So the energy that will not back to the solar light, sunlight, right? The energy that is not absorbed by the sunlight. So that is not bi-directional or multi-directional, that is unidirectional. Option A, that is unidirectional. The energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional. Then question number 18. Which one is nature's cleaner? Consumers, option B, producers, option C, decomposers and scavengers, option D, symbionts. So here consumers, they directly depend on the plants, so they are not called as cleaners of the nature. Producers, they utilize the sunlight and they are not called as nature's cleaners. Decomposers and the scavengers, so they act on dead and decaying material. They degrade the dead and decaying material and convert the organic matter into simple inorganic matter and transfer the nutrients to the soil. So they clean the environment. Just imagine, ಈ ಒಂದು ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಡ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಬಿತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಲ್ವಾ? So these decomposers and the scavengers, symbionts, they do not clean the environment. So option C, decomposers and the scavengers are called as nature's cleaner. Question number 19. Who is referred to as the farmer's friend? So this is a general knowledge question, right? Ant, option B, sparrow, option C, earthworm, option D, rabbit. Yes, comment the answer. Who is referred as farmer's friend? Option C, yes, very good. Earthworm. Earthworm. Why earthworm is called as farmer's friend? So that feed on the detritus, right? Detritus, dead and decaying material ಅನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು feed ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. So like plant leaves and all, and that releases the some organic matter to the soil ಅಲ್ವಾ? So for example, humus ಅನ್ನೋದೇನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So some organic black color material that is added to the soil, which is very rich in nutrient. They feed on the leaves and all, and they release the nutrient rich matter to the soil ಅಲ್ವಾ? So soil fertility ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, increase ಆಗತ್ವೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, because of the earthworm. So that is called as, so that is why it is called as the farmer's friend. Question number 20. Which of the following statement is true? Decomposition rate is slower if the detritus is rich in lignin and chitin, and quicker if detritus is rich in nitrogen water soluble substances like sugars. Okay, so this is the first statement. See the second one. Decomposition rate is slower if the detritus is rich in nitrogen water soluble substances like sugars, and quicker if detritus is rich in lignin and the chitin. Option C, decomposition rate is slower if detritus is rich in cellulose and quicker if detritus is rich in phosphorus. Option D, decomposition rate is quicker if detritus is rich in lignin and quicker if the detritus is rich in sulfur. So, decomposition process means the breakdown of the organic matter into simple inorganic substances. Like simple substances ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. So this decomposition rate is slower if the detritus is rich in lignin chitin. Yes, so lignin and the chitin, so these are the complex materials, so they need more time to break down this complex organic materials. So lignin chitin ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ದಿನ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And quicker if the detritus is rich in nitrogen and water soluble substances like sugar. So ಬೇಗ decomposition process complete ಆಗತ್ತೆ if water soluble substances like sugars are there. Yes, that is the correct statement. Okay, and what about the other statements? So this is the correct statement. Decomposition rate is slower if the detritus is rich in nitrogen and water soluble substances. So it will be faster if it is composed of water soluble substances like sugar, and quicker if the detritus is rich in lignin and chitin. So this is the wrong one. Decomposition rate is slower if it is rich in cellulose, and quicker if the detritus is rich in phosphorus. So this is also wrong statement. And the decomposition rate is quicker if the detritus is rich in lignin. No, if lignin is there, then the process will be slower. And quicker if the detritus is rich in sulfur. No, if the sulfur is there, then also the process will be slower. Okay, so option D also wrong one. So for this question, option 1 is the correct answer. Next question. What are the two most important climatic factors that regulate the decomposition through their effects on the soil microbes? So ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಎರಡು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಅಂಡ್ rainfall, temperature and soil moisture, temperature and humidity, temperature and pressure. So regulate the decomposition. So decomposition through their effects on the microbes. So decomposition ಅನ್ನ regulate ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. Yes, temperature that regulate the decomposition. If the temperature is very high or very low, the decomposition is not possible. So it requires the optimum temperature. And the soil moisture, so mainly because of the rainfall, right? The soil moisture, that is mainly because of the rainfall. So humidity and pressure, that does not affect the decomposition. Temperature and rainfall mainly affect the soil moisture, right? So the option A is the correct one. Temperature and the rainfall is the correct option. Question number 22. Which one of the following statements is correct? Option A, warm and moist environment favor the decomposition, whereas low temperature and anaerobiosis inhibit the decomposition. Nodi, moist environment favor the decomposition. That is correct one. And low temperature and anaerobiosis means the absence of the oxygen inhibit the decomposition. Yes, that is the correct statement. Warm and moist environment inhibit the decomposition. No, they promote the decomposition. They favor the decomposition. Low temperature and anaerobiosis favor the decomposition. This is the wrong statement. Warm and anaerobiosis favor. No. So this anaerobiosis, that does not favor the decomposition, and low temperature favors the decomposition. So that is the wrong one. Warm and low temperature inhibit the decomposition. That warm and low temperature, that do not inhibit the decomposition, whereas yes, this is the correct statement, but whereas anaerobiosis favors the decomposition. Anaerobiosis means absence of the oxygen, so that do not favor the decomposition. So option D is also wrong one. So for this question, option A, that is warm and moist environment favor the decomposition, whereas low temperature and anaerobiosis inhibit the decomposition. Yes, option A is the correct answer. Next question. Which of the following process helps in nutrient conservation? Mineralization, immobilization, leaching, nitrification. Mineralization means the breakdown of the humus and the minerals that enter into the soil. Leaching means the soluble nutrients that directly reach the soil. And nitrification, that is the process of the addition of the nitrogen to the soil. Nitrification, conversion of the nitrates into nitrites. So that is the process. So which one of the following process help in nutrient conservation. So to conserve the nutrient, the immobilization is helpful. What is immobilization? So it is the process in which soil microbes absorb the nutrient like nitrogen and phosphorus from the soil and lock them inside their bodies. This prevents the nutrients from being lost by leaching or runoff, thus conserving the nutrients in the ecosystem. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಮ್ಮೊಬಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಎಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ being lost by leaching or runoff. So the correct option is immobilization. Option B is the correct one. Next question. What is the percentage of photosynthetically active radiation is captured by the plants? So, Nodi, solar light that falls on the plants, but photosynthetically active radiation means which is suitable for the photosynthesis, that is captured by the plants. So, that is option A, 5 to 10%, option B 7 to 10%, option C 8 to 10, option D 2 to 10%. So here the correct option is option D, 2 to 10%. So that is called as PAR, that is photosynthetically active radiation. Next question, 25th question. Each tropic level has certain mass of living material at the particular time is known as option A catabolism, option B standing crop, option C humification, option D primary productivity. Catabolism means that is the breakdown of the molecules in our body, that is the ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಕೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಇರೋದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗ್ಲುಕೋಸ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗಿರೋದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್. ದೆನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಡಿಫೈನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್? Each tropic level has certain mass of living material at the particular time is known as standing crop. Okay, that is the correct one. Then what is humification? Humification means the uh, black color soil that is formed by the dead organic matter, so that is rich in nutrients and which undergo the decomposition very slowly. So that is called as black color amorphous solid structure. That is called, the process of formation of that is called as humification, humus formation. And primary productivity, that you know already, I explained what is primary productivity alva. So for this question, option B is the correct answer. Then question number 26. In a forest ecosystem, bacteria and fungi are generally option A producers, option B decomposers, option C primary consumers, option D secondary consumers. So bacteria and fungi, they are not the producers, right? So producers are the plants. Primary consumers means, so which directly depend on the producers are called as primary consumers. Secondary consumers means the organisms which depend on the primary consumer are called as secondary consumers. Then, so these bacteria and fungi, so they help in the process of decomposition, hence they are called as decomposers. Option B is the correct one, that is decomposers. Question number 27. What will happen if decomposers are removed from the ecosystem? When the decomposers are removed from the ecosystem, option A, energy cycle is stopped. Option B, mineral cycle is stopped. consumers cannot absorb the solar energy, rate of decomposition of mineral increases. So ಈಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಮೂವ್. ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸರ್ಸ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಡೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಕೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಗೋ ದ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಡಿಕೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ಡ್. ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆಗತ್ತಾ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ, ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿಯಿಂದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆಗತ್ತಾ? ನೋ, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೈಕಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್. Mineral cycle is stopped. Consumers cannot absorb the solar energy, so this is not a correct one. Rate of decomposition mineral increases. No, that do not increases. The correct option is mineral cycle is stopped. How? So when the organisms die, the organic matter from their body, because of the decomposers that enter into the soil, then from the soil again it enter into the organism's body through the food and other process. So this is called as mineral cycle alva. So this mineral cycle is stopped. Organic matter enagalla, so that do not enter into the soil by simple inorganic matter. So simple inorganic matter agade enagodilla, so that will not enter the soil. So the mineral cycle is stopped here. So option B is the correct one. Question number 28. Ecosystem is option A, always open. Option B, both open and closed depending on the biomass. Option C, always closed. Option D, open and closed depending upon the community. So already now ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಓಪನ್, there is a mineral recycling and that accept the solar energy that passes through the different levels, consumer and the secondary consumer level. So there is a decomposition process. So the ecosystem that is always open. Yes, always open, that is the correct one. Already we solved this question. Question number 29. Bamboo plant is growing in a fir forest, then what will be the tropic level of it? Option A, tropic level 1, secondary tropic level, third tropic level, fourth tropic level. Yes, what is the tropic level of the bamboo plant? Yes, anybody please comment the answers. Answers ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ comment ಮಾಡಿ. Okay. Option B, second tropic level. How? So bamboo plants are always, they are the producers, means the producers are at the first tropic level alva. So producers enagirutte, first tropic level irutte. Plants are at the first tropic level. Plants are at the first tropic level. So here bamboo plant that is in the first tropic level, that is the correct one. Then question number 30. An ecosystem that can be easily damaged but can recover after some time. If the damaging effects stop, will be having low stability and high resilience. High stability and low resilience. Option C, low stability and low resilience. And option D, high stability and high resilience. So here low stability means ecosystem gets damaged easily when disturbed. Yes, so the ecosystem have the low stability because it may get damaged when it is disturbed. Then high resilience, the ecosystem can recover quickly once disturbance stops alva. So ecosystem ಗೆ high resilience ಇದೆ because so once ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ecosystem disturb ಆದರೆ that will undergo quick changes. So the ecosystem that is having the low stability but high resilience. So here option A, low stability, high resilience. Option A is the correct answer. Okay. Okay. Question number 31. At the tropic level of consumers, the rate at which the food energy is assimilated is called, Nodi, at the tropic level of consumers, the total, the rate at which the energy is assimilated means the amount of organic matter that is produced is called as option A, secondary productivity, option B, gross primary productivity, net primary productivity, none of this. You know that the primary productivity, primary productivity that will be at the producer level alva. Primary productivity ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಯಾವ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, producer level. But here the tropic level of consumers means that is the organic matter, new organic matter that is produced at the consumer level, that is the secondary productivity. Option A is the correct answer, that is the secondary productivity. Question number 32. Net primary productivity is subtracted from gross primary productivity, that which is consumed by herbivores, that which is consumed by the producer in the metabolism, secondary productivity loss due to mortality. So, illnodi, net primary productivity, that is NPP. Alpha. NPP is equal to GPP. So net primary productivity is subtracted from the gross primary productivity. So here net primary productivity that is subtracted from the gross primary productivity, that which is consumed by the herbivores, no, that which is consumed by the producer in the metabolism, yes, that which is consumed by the producer in the metabolism. So this is the correct answer. Option B, it is consumed by the producer in metabolism. Question number 33. In a natural ecosystem, which pyramid can never be inverted? So, nimge gottide pyramids, they have two types, right? So, upright pyramid and inverted pyramid. Alva. So, noti. So, this is the upright pyramid and this is the inverted pyramid. So, only three types of pyramids. The pyramid of number, biomass, and energy. Alva, number, biomass, and energy. More types pyramid ಇದೆ. Pyramid of number, so it can be upright or it can be inverted. So ಇದೆರಡು ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಪ್ರೈಟ್ ಪಿರಮಿಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಸೊ ಅದು ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಬಯೋಮಾಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಅಪ್ರೈಟ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ನಂಬರ್, ಒಂದು ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಟರ್ಷಿಯರಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ದ ಪಿರಮಿಡ್ ಇಸ್ upright. But there is one more case. So tree ecosystem ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೀ ಇದೆ, but more insects are there and the more birds are there. Compared to insects, more birds are there which feed on the insect. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, 1, 10, 100 ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಪಿರಾಮಿಡ್. ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಬಯೋಮಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೀಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬೋತ್ ಅಪ್ರೈಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಪಿರಾಮಿಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ, ಸೊ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ that flows from one level to another level, only 10% of energy is transferred to the next level ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1000 ಕಿಲೋ ಕ್ಯಾಲೋರೀಸ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಓನ್ಲಿ 10% ಅಂದ್ರೆ 100 ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ 10 ದೆನ್ 1. ಸೊ ಓನ್ಲಿ 10% will be transferred to the next tropic level. So here this pyramid can be inverted. So you'll notice in natural ecosystem which pyramid can never be inverted. Pyramid of numbers that can be inverted, pyramid of biomass that can be inverted, but pyramid of energy that cannot be inverted because only 10% of the energy transferred to the next level. So option B, pyramid of energy. Next question. Every organism has natural residence, which is option A, biome, option B, niche, option B is habit, option D, habitat. So the natural residence. So is it called biome? Biome means that is the larger geographical area which includes the communities and the different ecosystem. Alva. So biome, that is not called as natural residence. Niche means the organism which is adjusted to the particular habitat, the organism able to live in a particular habitat, that is called as niche. Habit means the routine of the organism, and the habitat means where it will live, that is called as natural residence. So option D, for example, forest, thick forest, or grassland. So grassland is the habitat of the some frogs and insects. So that is the natural residence, means for birds, trees are the natural residence alva, trees. So ee ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ that is called as the habitat, option D. Next question. Biotic components of an ecosystem include producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers and consumer, producer only, consumer only. So this question is also already we learned in this only. So option A, producers, consumers, and decomposers. Option A is the correct answer. So the biotic components of an ecosystem: producers, consumers, and the decomposers. Then vertical distribution of different species occupying different level of a biotic community is known as the vertical distribution of different species. So ಅದನ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? Is it called as stratification, pyramid, divergence, zonation? So here the vertical distribution of the different species occupying the different level. ಸೊ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್, ನಾಟ್ pyramid, divergent, and zonation. Option A, stratification is the correct answer. Note down the question. Question number 37. What does this statement? The energy passed from producer to the consumers does not go back to the producers. That is autotrope state about the flow of energy. Flow is unidirectional. Flow has no specific direction. Flow is bidirectional. Flow is multidirectional. See here, the energy passed from producer to the consumers. So plants to the herbivores, then to the carnivores. So the energy passed from one level to the another tropic level, right? So this energy that do not go back to the producers, it will not go back to the producers again to the plants, right? So this is called as flow is unidirectional. Yes, that is the correct statement. Unidirectional, that is not bidirectional. Flow has no specific direction. Yes, that is the wrong one. So there is a specific direction, that is the unidirection. Flow is bidirectional, that is the wrong one. Flow is multidirectional, it is not a multidirectional. So this statements mean the flow is unidirectional. The correct option, the flow is unidirectional. Note down this question. Question number 38. Which of the following statements regarding energy flow are false? Okay. The detritus food chain begins with dead organic matter. In aquatic ecosystem, detritus food chain is major conduit for the energy flow. In terrestrial ecosystem, a larger fraction of energy flows through the grazing food chain. Producers belong to the first tropic level of the food chain. Okay. Yes. So here, which of the following are false statements? The detritus food chain begins with the dead organic matter. Yes, the detritus food chain that includes the dead organic matter, then the earthworm, and the organisms feed on earthworm like frog, like this. So that is the detritus food chain. So that is correct statement. Okay. The aquatic ecosystem, a detritus food chain is the major conduit for the energy flow. Major conduit means major channel for the energy flow. So in aquatic ecosystem, detritus food chain is not a major channel for the energy flow. So here in the aquatic ecosystem, the grazing food chain is the main conduit for the energy flow. Then in terrestrial ecosystem, the larger fraction of energy flows through the grazing food chain. Yes, that is the correct one. Producers belong to the first tropic level of the food chain. So that is also correct one. Sorry, this is the wrong one because here detritus food chain is the major conduit for the flow of energy in the terrestrial. So option 3 one also wrong one. Fourth one is the correct one. So here what they asked, which of the following statements are false? This is correct. This is false. 2 is also false. Fourth one is correct one. Second and third only. Option A, second and third only are the false statements. Next question. In the equation GPP minus R is equal to NPP. R represent what it is R. So here respiratory loss, radiant energy, retardation factor, environment factor. So here R means that is the respiratory loss. Option A, respiration loss is the correct answer. Yes, option A is the correct answer for the 39th question. Question number 40. Which of the following statement is not correct? So, which of the following statement is not correct? Okay. Pyramid of numbers in a grassland ecosystem is upright. So, pyramid of numbers. Numbers andre grass number ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Then the primary consumers number ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Then tertiary consumer number ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. That is the correct statement. Pyramid of biomass in a sea is generally inverted. So sea ecosystem ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಯೋಮಾಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಫೈಟೋಪ್ಲಾಂಕ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಅಲ್ಗೆ ಫೈಟೋಪ್ಲಾಂಕ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ the fishes, they feed on this phytoplanktons, then larger fishes. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಬಯೋಮಾಸ್ ಫೈಟೋಪ್ಲಾಂಕ್ಟನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ, ಫಿಶಸ್ ಇದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಫಿಶಸ್ ಇದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಪಿರಮಿಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಯೋಮಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಸಿ ಜನರಲಿ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಒನ್. Pyramid of biomass in a sea is generally upright. So this is the wrong one. Generally ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ inverted ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Pyramid of energy is always upright ಅಲ್ವಾ, because energy flow ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಪಿರಮಿಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಅಪ್ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಾಲೋವಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಿರಮಿಡ್ ಆಫ್ biomass in a sea is generally upright. This statement is wrong. Next question, question number 41. Statement based question answer. Decomposers release the inorganic nutrients into the soil. Detrivores convert the detritus into humus. See the options. Only one is correct. Only statement 1 is correct. Only 2 is correct. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Both are incorrect. See the options. Decomposers release the inorganic nutrients into the soil. Correct agide alva. So they break down the organic matter from the dead organisms, plants and animals, and they release the nutrients into the soil. That is the correct statement. Detrivores means which feed on the detritus alva, earthworm. Convert the detritus into humus alva. Aden madutte organic matter anna feed ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, like ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಫೀಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಮರ್ಫಸ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಹ್ಯೂಮಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ಬೋತ್ 1 and 2 are correct. Here option C, both 1 and 2 are correct alva. This is the correct option. Next question, question number 42. Statements. Pyramid of energy is always upright. Biomass pyramid in a grassland ecosystem is inverted. Nodi. Pyramid of energy is always upright. Yes, pyramid of energy. Nodi, energy ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಹತ್ರ 1000 ಕಿಲೋ ಕ್ಯಾಲೋರೀಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ 10% ಮೀನ್ಸ್ 100, then 10, then 1. So that is always upright alva. So ee ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಪಿರಮಿಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So that is the correct statement. Biomass pyramid in a grassland ecosystem is inverted. So biomass pyramid in a grassland ecosystem ಅನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ the mass of the grass, organic mass of the grass, that is high then compared to the next level. So here which one is the correct answer? So the biomass of pyramid in a grassland ecosystem is inverted. So that is the wrong one. That is upright. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ inverted alla upright. So only statement 1 is correct. So here only statement 1 is correct. Yes, option A. Sorry. Only 1 is correct ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. Question number 43. Statement. Secondary productivity is the rate of formation of new organic matter by the consumers. Statement 2. Primary productivity depends on the plant species and the environmental factors. So here the secondary productivity is the rate of formation of new organic matter by the consumers. ಹೌದು ಸರಿ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೈ ದ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ produced by the consumers alva. So that is the correct statement. Then the primary productivity depends on plant species and environmental factors. Primary productivity depends on the plant species. Yes, the productivity plant species ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಓನ್ಲಿ 1 is correct, only 2 is correct, both 1 and 2 are correct, none. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದು ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ? Both 1 and 2 are correct. Option C is the correct answer. That is both 1 and 2 are correct. Question number 44. Statements. Standing crop is measured by biomass or number. Standing state refers to nutrients present in the ecosystem. So here standing crop is measured by biomass or the number alva. So standing crop, how do you define the standing crop? That is the total amount of organic matter present in the each tropic level at a particular time. So that is the standing crop measured as a biomass or the number. That is the correct one. Standing state refers to nutrients present in the ecosystem. So standing crop, that also refers to the nutrients present in the ecosystem. So here both the statements, option C, both the statements are correct. Here standing crop refers to the nutrient present in the ecosystem. So here both the statements are correct one. Yes, next move to the question number 45. Assertion reason based question. Okay, so here one assertion will be there and reason will be there. So and related to that some options will be given. Okay, so read the question. Assertion: decomposers are essential for nutrient cycling. Reason: they convert the inorganic compounds into complex organic matter molecules. A and R both true. R explains A. A and R both true. R does not explain A. A true, R false. A false, R true. Right? So, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಸೈಕ್ಲಿಂಗ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಒನ್. ಅಸರ್ಷನ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಡೆಡ್ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇಂದ ಆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ಗೆ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಇಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಸ್, ಅಗೇನ್ ಟು ದ ಸಾಯಿಲ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಸೈಕ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ದ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸರ್ಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಸೈಕ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. Then reason: they convert the inorganic compounds into complex organic molecules. No, here already the complex organic molecules are present in the dead material, and they convert the complex organic material into simple inorganic material. So this is wrong. Then assertion is true. Assertion is true. A and R both true? No, A and R both are not true. So this is also wrong one. A and R both true. So this both are not true, right? So this is the wrong statement. A true, R false, A false, R true. So here A is true one, R is the false one, right? A true, R false. So option C is the correct answer. Okay. Yes, dear students, I hope you got the answer for this question ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, already we solved around 45 questions from this chapter. So if you have any doubts, you have time to ask the question. So ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ಬಹುದು. Any doubts? I'll give time. Yes, any doubts? ಸೊ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾ, ಎಸ್, ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್? ಓಕೆ, ನೋ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಆರ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಈ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ the sessions are, I hope, very useful for you people. Thank you.